Morning, guys. Welcome to Chakra Sessions. I'm your host, Polly Jo Labbe, on this beautiful, for us, very foggy January 8th of 2019. Here we are in a brand new year. So welcome, everybody. I'm very excited to be able to chat with you about our chakra system. I mean, we've been talking about it now for a little while. But my spiritual team has given me over the years a sort of an expanded view of our energy system. And it's based off our original knowledge of chakras. And so it's a starting point. It's a jumping point for all of us because it's language that we can access and it's language that we share. But a lot of things that are happening with our energy system to move through this sort of evolution, this ascension, as many people are calling it, the raise in vibration of our planet is happening at accelerated rate. So our energy system has actually shifted and transformed to be able to accommodate these newer vibrations. So this is such a cool topic, and I guess it's going to be sort of the brand new Chakra Sessions for 2019 is we're going to build on our already base knowledge of the 7 chakras and go from there. And there's some things that I will call chakras and some things I will call energy centers. And they're basically the same thing. It just it depends upon how much juice is in them. So this is so juicy. I'm so excited. So let's see who's on board this morning. Good morning, Christine. Happy to see you're in the house. They gave me some more cards, by the way. So I'm kind of laughing about it because I'm in resistance to creating an energy chakra deck. But of course, it makes sense because it would help people as a teaching tool, right? To be able to understand what energy is on tap for the day and how to maneuver it. Hi, Neshi. Welcome on board. Glad to see you here. And those of you guys who, missed it, Mervyn had a beautiful show this morning on Star to Stone about 2019. Some great reading material if you're interested in magic or in druid energy. He's just such a beautiful source of information around that. So I would watch the replay if you missed it because it's a great way to kick off your 2019 energy. So, happy to see that. So let's kind of get the ball rolling. So most of us understand or have heard discussed, a 7 chakra energy system. And that energy system basically came online. We were able to start accessing it after the birth of Jesus. And when that occurred, anybody born after that period started to be able to have access to more energy centers. And it's not that they materialize out of nowhere and we never had them before. My team explains it to me that we have energy systems that we don't tap into. They basically are there, but they lie dormant. And I think of them as bulbs underneath the ground, right? A bulb isn't always a flower, but it is underground waiting for its chance to bloom. And so we have energy centers that are throughout our energy field, in our aura, and within our physical body, and many outside of our physical body. And those centers come online as we need them, as we're ready for them, as our vibration raises to a certain frequency, we start to send out this signal and those energy centers go, oh, okay, it's time for us to come online. It's kind of like booting up your computer. especially in the old days, right? It took a while for everything to load on. And then when things got running smoother and smoother, we got a better operating system, right? And when we upgraded our operating system, things got faster and faster on the computer. And now it's even happening more quickly. And what's happening with our computers is actually what's happening with our own energy system as well. So the faster and the more energy and the more speed we create with them, the more we tap into that energy within ourselves. So if we start with our 7 chakras, those are the ones most people understand. There's one located near your tailbone, which is your first chakra, and that has to do with your foundation energy, your safety, your security, your family, your home, your finances, anything that makes you feel safe. All your base survival needs are taken care of. Do you have shelter? Do you have food? Do you have a way to thrive? And that's all in that beautiful red chakra. And then in our second chakra, that's just below the belly button, that one holds the energy of our base emotions. It allows us to sense and feel and express everything from happy to sad to angry and everything in between. And those are a way for us to let others know and let ourselves know that something's wrong. Think about babies. They cry because they need to communicate with us that something's wrong. They're hungry, they're tired, they need their diaper changed, their teeth hurt, whatever it is. And as a parent, you start to recognize that the cries start to differ. You start to notice that there's different vibrations, right? So all that takes place in the second chakra, and the second chakra is also where we form the basis for most of our relationships. And those relationships are with anything other than ourselves. So it can be other people, it can be like me with my computer, it could be me with food, it could be me with my environment. All of those relationships are in that second chakra. So how cool is that? Then we move up into the third chakra, which is just below our rib cage. And that one holds that, all of our sense of self. It's our personal power. It's our fire. And this one really, this is when we start to get a little wiggly because we hold a lot of fear energy in this location too. And when we hold fear anywhere in our body, it starts to get our brain spinning. And that is why, most people who are working on their spiritual journey, you're spending a lot of time seeing what's in those lower 3 chakras that my team likes to call your survival body. And getting rid of anything that is creating fear. And I use fear in this really general term because my team talks about there's 2 emotions, fear and love. So if it's not in love, it's in fear. So anything that feels like anxiety or stress or overwhelm, anything that attacks your self-confidence, your self-worth, it all kind of gets a lot of its juice from that third chakra. And so that's how my team describes our survival body. And that's the one we're in most of the time. That's how we react to things that are happening in our environment. And we react based on our own needs and what we want. So let me just check in. I saw a couple more people check in. Hi, Lindsay June. Nice to see you. Welcome, Natalie. Nice to have you. So, knowing that these 3 energy systems control a lot of our day, our daily life, can be this really interesting place. Oh, sorry about that. You might hear my other phone go off. Apparently, I didn't put it on mute. So we have these ones that we use every day. And then we have these 4 other chakras that people consider our higher self. Though most people will consider the heart chakra in the middle, right in your chest, being the bridge. It's the mediator between your survival body and your higher self, which gets very confusing because some people refer to what's above your head as your higher self, and some people talk about your top 4 chakras being your higher self. Well, it's because when we had less than 7 chakras, this was our higher self. And it is a more high version, let's say, of ourselves. So the way my team explains it to me that may be easier for you to understand is that the lower 3 chakras talk about me. When it refers to ourselves, it is me. Me. And then when we are up in our heart and our throat and our third eye and our crown, we are in myself. And when we're in this higher energy, we are able to distinguish me and my needs from you and your needs. And we also understand that they're equally valid. When we're in our survival self, only my needs are valid. I'll fill yours if they don't interfere with mine. Does that make sense? Wow, that's going to go off, I guess, a bunch of times. So in these higher chakras, you get to the heart chakra. And this heart chakra part of us that is now in a sense thinking about myself, and I may need to go shut that. So hold one second. Otherwise, we're going to go off all day, guys. I love my spiritual team and how they do that. All right, we're back. So when we move into the heart chakra, the heart chakra communicates between our survival body and what it needs, but it has a higher understanding, a higher value of what's going on. And this is where we can experience love, because we can't really experience love in our lower chakras because it's all about getting our own needs met. And that kind of love is not an exchange between one person and another. It's not even. It's out of balance. It's out of whack, basically. So when you are in your higher heart energy, you understand that not only do you want to give love, but you want to receive love. And that all occurs from a higher sense of knowing. And that's all in our heart chakra. And our heart chakra, also it heals the wounds of, when our feelings have been hurt. Whether that is grief, whether that is disappointment, whether that's shame or blame that we've held on to, anything that makes us feel less like ourself, anything that really leaves us in a space where we don't feel worthy of receiving love, that will all impact in the heart chakra. And then we move into our throat, which most of you know is all about communication. But because it's a higher form of communication than how we communicate from our third chakra out of our belly, when we're speaking from our throat, we're really speaking our authentic truth. Because again, we're speaking our truth, but we understand that other people have their truth. And this is how we express our uniqueness, and yet at the same time, are joyful about other people's uniqueness, because we would be bored to death if we were all exactly the same. And frankly, nothing would get done, because if we all only liked to do certain things, then other stuff would just not happen. So, we are each born with our uniqueness, and that helps keep the balance, the harmony on the planet as a whole. And then when we move into our sixth chakra, it's all about our intuition, a lot of people say, or our psychic gifts. It's our perception. It's how we perceive what's happening around us. If we're perceiving things from a fear place, then we're going to see fear. If we're perceiving things from a love space, then we're going to see love, because that's kind of like the glasses that we're wearing, right? And this isn't being in a state of denial. This is truly, I'm talking about being in a place where you're really in your heart space. I hope that all makes sense. So the perception in your sixth chakra uses all 5 of your senses with your intuition to come to decisions and to take action. So instead of reacting to the circumstances around, you take it all in and you evaluate, and then you take action. I hope you can hear the difference of what I'm saying. Because when you have a conversation with somebody where you're having an even exchange and it flows beautifully, and then you have other people where you're on your guard because they're always attacking you. And because you're on guard, they feel that, and so they feel threatened, and then they need to attack. I hope that makes sense to everybody. So when we are in our sixth chakra and we're perceiving things from a wider view, my team explains to me that when we're in our ego and we're perceiving things, it's like we can only see 180 degrees. We only see half the picture. And actually, in reality, we only see about a quarter of the picture. We're only taking in a quarter of the information and using that. When we're operating from our third eye, and when we're operating from more of our intuitive sense, we're taking in closer to 360 degrees. We're still not to 360, but we have at least more than half of our energy field that we're using. Cool, wouldn't you want to make your decisions with more information, because then you're having a more well-rounded, and notice how we always use that. Somebody who has a lot of knowledge, they're well-rounded, right? It's because they're accessing all the information around them. So that is when we're using our sixth chakra to its fuller potential. And our crown chakra above our head is really our connection to the divine. And it gives us access to our higher versions of ourself. So that's when the terminology in the New Age gets kind of mucky. So the lower self is what most people talk about, the lower 3 chakras. You're going to hear me talking about the survival body, or their survival self. And that's what I mean, those lower 3 chakras. And when I talk about your aware self, that's your upper 4 chakras. That's the one that's going, myself, right? And the higher versions of ourself, connections to our soul, those are when we connect to the divine I am. And so it's real easy to be in this sort of knowledge, because my team, I think, made it super duper easy. Lower self, me. The higher self that we're in our body, myself. And above, I. So when you're talking about me, myself, and I, it means you're bringing everything with you. You're bringing all versions of you, and you're accessing as much divine information as possible. Cool. So that's how I envision the 7 chakras. It's how my team speaks to me about them. Everybody has their own reality around that, and I'm not trying to change yours. I'm just trying to put us all on the same page as we expand and talk beyond the 7. All right. So I'm going to sort of check in with you guys again. And thank you for my page basically telling us what's going on. This is, let me just click on this because it's hard for me to do technology. So this is my article that's coming up in the January 10th issue. And the Ancient One spoke to me about our spiritual evolution. So it's a great starting place for you to kind of get some clues onto what my team is talking about and how they want me to proceed with my teachings. And then beautiful reminder that I'm going to be here tomorrow night to do healing. Thank you, Tina. Nice to see you. Hi, Christine. Great. And let's see who else. Bobby. I keep calling you, want to call you Roberta. I'm glad you're being a sponge because this is the day to be a sponge. Like my hair wouldn't even like fully dry because it was like, you got to have a lot of water. I'm like, all right, we'll just go with it. So the next set of chakras that we can access very easily, we all can. It doesn't have to do with what vibration you're at. When we experienced some energy shifting, especially around the detonation of the nuclear bomb, these chakras had to come online because we needed to step up our evolution. We needed to move to a higher vibration before we, in our sort of limited survival bodies, sort of destroyed the planet that we're living on. So we needed to like speed up a little bit our spiritual evolution. Yes, thank you to Stephanie for posting the article information. I'm very excited about that. You know, it's a little unnerving at times when you're used energetically as a messenger. And I've been used as a messenger for years, just generally on a smaller scale. And my team is really stepping up because there's some big messages need to get out there. And there's not a lot of people who are accessing the energy at the moment. So my team is ready for me to start teaching some basics about the energy, because if it comes into your awareness, you can start striving to activate it. And that will help us all lift the vibration of the planet, because we can only take care of ourselves. So I'm so excited that you're here and that you're listening, because this is really important. So the next 5 chakras, most people perceive them above themselves, and they call that their higher self. And like I said, for me, it gets confusing because when you do your work, it's actually not, you can integrate it in your physical body, and it doesn't have to be above your head anymore. When you believe that the divine energy is outside of you, you will go seeking it above you. When you are able to hold a more full dimensional view, you know, because we're focused on 3 dimensions. And so then it pulls us into linear time. So of course we see our energy in this linear form. And I'm going to talk about it in this linear form because that's where most of us are. But there's a way that our energy integrates as we start to use it. It doesn't have to be so far away from our energy field. Does that make sense? You're going to call in all of your energy. And as you're calling in all of your energy, more and more energy is available for you to use on a day-to-day basis. Welcome, Teresa. Nice to see you. So I gave you the rundown on the 7 chakras. And if you're interested in that, there's tons of books out there. You can read about them. They're all similar, and they can get you kind of on the same page. Now, these next 5 chakras, my team talks to me about them being soul chakras. So the soul chakras are here to help us with our spiritual mission and to help us learn our soul's lessons. You know, because people talk all the time about us being here and we're in school, right? And we are. We're here to learn some lessons. And we go through these lessons, and it's not like you go through the lessons and you're a master. You know, you go through phases just like we do in school. So you go through a time when you're really an apprentice, you've really never dealt with the energy before. It's your first few times kind of dealing with the issue. And so you're learning what things work and what things don't work, but you're not doing it on a deep dive level. And then we step in, you know, we go from a student to more of an apprentice, and the apprentice has a little more chops and they can take on the issue in a slightly bigger fashion. And then the journeyman is like really in charge of it, and they know how to apply it in a lot of different situations. It doesn't mean they're still not learning, because they are. And then when you're moving into mastery, not only can you do it with ease and with grace, but you're starting to show other people how to. You're starting to help those students, help those apprentices, so that we all move up on learning that spiritual lesson. Hope this is making sense. My team is speaking a lot of information in a very short window of time, so I hope you guys are holding on. So just imagine, perceive however you want, that there's 5 more chakras above us. And when we tap into that, that's a deeper knowing, and that's when we connect to our soul, what our soul wants. And for me, there's a distinction between my higher self, the part of me that's aware, and the soul chakras are I think of those as being awake. They never were asleep. Where our lower 3 chakras, our survival body, we're walking around sleepwalking a lot of times. And we see that phenomenon everywhere we go. You run into people who they don't seem to be aware of their surroundings. You know, there's a reason that zombie movies are huge right now, because there's a lot of people energetically walking around in this dead sense too. Oh, nice. Hi, Todd. Yay. Glad you're both here. Woohoo. All right. So people are saying it's making sense. Yes. So these 5 chakras that are above us, right, our soul chakra centers, they each have their own function. And we can ask in meditation, we can ask in prayer to access that information, and it will come through. And lots of times it comes through for people in automatic writing, and it comes through in like brief glimpses, or, you know, our team uses the messages to come through other people. So Barbie is saying, just learned something. Guess you can teach an old dog new tricks. Oh, they're teaching me every day, sweetie, my spiritual team right now. It's been all hands on deck. So this is the time when, you know, we can access those 5 chakras. And the more we have traveled on our spiritual journey, the more clearing we do, we can actually begin to call the divine energy in and invite it to be inside of our hara line, inside of our energy body, kind of like down that tube in the center, the crystalline tube. And when we pull it in, the energy we start accessing that information even faster. And we all have that potential. And we all can do that on an an easy basis. So let me start with what the root chakra is of the soul chakras, okay? And I'm sorry that this is all in verbal communication because I know a number of you are visual, but my book isn't written fully yet. So I'm going to need somebody I'm going to need an artist. I'm setting the intention that I'll have an artist who will help me with the visuals on what I'm describing. So the root chakra of our higher body. So for some of you, it would be the 8th chakra, but I'm trying not to use 8 because there's a different meaning to that depending on the person. So the root chakra of our soul body holds the energy around how we're going to take action with our life purpose. So it's the physical aspect of how we're going to take our mission here this lifetime and create that. So you can see how that would be really cool to tap into, because when that is accessed, then not only do you know, all right, this is my pathway, what I'm supposed to do, but you also get some pretty clear marching orders. You get to feel like, is this in alignment with it or not? And you get a really quick yes and no. So there's really no guesswork about what you're supposed to do right this moment. Now, remember, when we're asking about now. Because future now doesn't exist yet, or it does exist and it's happening at the exact same time, depending on your viewpoint. But we're asking about this moment. So let me take a quick sip because my throat chakra is working overtime. And my channels. So thank you, team. So that's like the root chakra. When that is able to be pulled down and placed inside your body, you can imagine that. I think of it as you grab the big toe of your soul chakras, your soul self, and you pull it in and put it on like you're putting on an overcoat. Well, maybe more like a dress because it goes straight over your head, right? So when that comes in, it integrates in between your first and second chakra. So imagine sort of a little above your pubic bone, I guess is the best way to put it. So it's like right in between. And when it is held within your physical body, it has sort of a terracotta rust color. It has a different color when it's outside of us because it's not experiencing gravity. That's a whole nother topic. So just hang on if you can. So that chakra helps us take action with our mission. And the chakra above that is the soul center. That's what talks to your ego. And it gets your ego to kind of quiet down. So it's an even, think of your heart when it speaks to your third chakra, to your survival body. It's like a mom talking to her kids. And most of the time the kids will listen to the mom, but sometimes they rebel, right? When they get to certain ages. This is more like the principal at school. Like you listen to the teacher to a certain degree, but then the principal is like the next layer and you're like, ooh, I really got to listen now. That's what then starts speaking to your ego. So your ego gets quieter because your soul center is sitting more fully inside you. And some healing modalities call it your star seed. But it's basically really in the center of your energy body. It's above your belly button, but so it's in between the second chakra and the third chakra, and it sits right there. And when it sits there, it really helps you have a higher perspective. It doesn't mean the ego body can't be in there, chiming in and making you all crazy, because that happens to all of us. But this is the opportunity for it to happen less, right? So the next chakra up from there, which is like the third chakra of your soul center, it actually connects right above our heart. And many of us experience that in our physical body. It's spoken of as the higher heart. My team calls it the transcendental heart, because it's the multi-dimensional heart, not the heart that is only here in the third dimension. So the higher heart accesses the sense of oneness with more than just Earth. We become much more one with the universe. We become one with the cosmos. We become, closer to one with the divine. Okay? And that when it takes root in our physical body, when the soul point takes root, it's still kind of that golden white divine energy, because it's our divine center. We don't have to not have it. It's our center. And it'll sit right in our center when we integrate it in our body. And a lot of people in meditation will sense that higher light above the crown, and that's our soul center that you're connecting to. Okay? That soul chakra that's up there, you're able to connect to that. So some people will call that the 8th chakra. Phew. And when our heart is within inside of us, I usually experience that as a kind of fuchsia pink color. And that fuchsia pink color is very prevalent for anybody who, most people can access the high heart really easily and consistently, especially if they do any kind of spiritual work. I first experienced it when I was doing healing work on a minister who had been a minister for a really long time. And I've seen it on rabbis. I've seen it on spiritual healers. I've seen it on spiritual teachers, people who work in special education, things like that, where you really need to hold that higher vibration of heart. And by the way, all the children who are artistic, they come in with that. They have that higher heart ready and in place, and they're here to teach us how to use it. FYI. Then the next chakra up from there, sort of like the 4th chakra of your soul center, is what my team calls it, it's where you receive all your divine downloads. It's your sort of super highway to the divine connection. Some people call it the aha point. Some people call it the zeal point. I'm still getting my team to create a name that I think will stick a little better and is easy to remember. So they're working on that. And so that point right there is, when it integrates, it's right behind your occipital. It's at the base of your skull. And it's why we get a lot of the neck headaches that are right there. It's because we're trying to open up our connectedness so that we're not only receiving divine information through our crown, through our third eye, but we're also trying to receive it in the back of our head here. And most of the people who experience migraines back there is because it's blocked. And there's a blockage because you're not accessing all of the divine information that you can. And in that space, it gets congested. And so that point, I experienced that as sort of a teal color, a cross between green and blue, which most people are like, well, then shouldn't it be down between the, shouldn't it be between, the throat and the heart? And I asked my team about that, and they said I was just getting too technical on colors. It's not all about the spectrum. It's about the vibration and the frequency. So a little side note to that is if you're trying to access, all you have to do is start visualizing that color and asking it to open and activate behind your head. Then we move into the last soul chakra that we're going to talk about today. And that one is the spiritual life purpose. It's the perception, it's the third eye, basically, of your soul. And it gets really close to our third eye. So, the two of them together operate our pituitary and our pineal glands at the same time. They kind of resonate in those areas of your brain. And that one's a very light turquoisey blue color. And that is where we have the divine knowing of what our spiritual mission is and what we're meant to do. How we may not know how we're going to accomplish it, because that's down in our physical life purpose. But it holds the how. So for me, my spiritual mission is to heal the healers on the planet. And to heal the healers, I'm helping them reconnect with their soul. And most of the time that means I have to help. Well, I don't have to help. I get to help access all the garbage that is blocking you from knowing your true self through different healing works, through teachings. Like, get all that old garbage out of the way and find you, because then you get to heal the planet the way you're meant to, because we all have a way we're meant to heal the planet. And it's not some big scary thing lots of times. It's just sharing our gifts and our loves and shifting the vibration on the planet to love. That's it. No big deal. We got this. So Tina says, I have arthritis there, stiffness and pain. Yep. So my dear, I would start visualizing and asking that energy to clear and see how that helps. And, you can message me later, because there's an oil blend that will help. But it's not up on my website quite yet. There will be. The oils for the 12 chakras will be on the website in the next 6 months or so. But you can message me. I can help you with that. So when we are operating with 12 energy centers instead of 7, can you imagine the shift that's going to happen? You've got that much more energy, that much more juice, and you have the ability to shine your light even brighter, because you're holding a higher vibration, you're holding a higher frequency. And my team cautions the use of higher because it's fuller. Like, when we only have 5 notes on our piano, we can only play 5 notes. But when we have 12, we can play, that's a whole octave, right? It includes the flats and the sharps. I think that's what they're, hard to get the technical. So believe it or not, we already knew about the 12 chakras, because that's how our pianos are set up. We are accessing all of those keys we're accessing. It's so cool. And this is just an opportunity for us to call that energy in. So we're just going to do a quick visualization. We're not going to do a full healing meditation, because my team is really clear that Wednesday night you can come and get a full healing and a reading and a connection to your spiritual team. But Tuesdays is really going to be about the teaching. And some of the teaching is the learning of the information, and some of it'll be for you to experience it. So we're going to take a moment to experience the difference. when we activate the 12 chakras, and it's very quick. So I hope all this makes sense, and I know this is I've been given a lot of information in a short amount of time, but hang in there, guys, because I really think it's cool and important. And it is in my book that's coming up, so I'm working on it. So take a moment, and you want to have your legs and your arms uncrossed. And just take a couple of deep breaths. And connect back with your heart. Notice your heartbeat, how your lungs are breathing, the air going in and out. And we're just going to settle all the energy of knowing and all the information and just allow it to integrate however it wants to. And I'll take a moment we're going to activate our chakra system. And as always, we are surrounded and protected by the divine in infinite love and infinite light. And all work that we do here is for the good of all and harm to none, including ourselves. So just notice near your tailbone, your first chakra. You may experience that as this bright red energy. You may not see color at all. But just notice that energy center. Feel its fullness. Notice its spinning. Yeah. And now tap into your second chakra. Right below your belly button, and just experience that. Whether you sense the orange color or you just feel it or know that it's there, just ask it to activate. Yeah. And we're going to activate our third chakra, right below our rib cage. Maybe you'll experience it as yellow, but just take a moment to experience it. Feel the fullness of it. Yeah. And in any of these chakras, if you feel tightness or wobbly or a flash of pain, it's just an indication that there's energy that's ready to clear and release. And you can work on it later or tomorrow. And now moving into the heart center, into your heart chakra. And really allowing yourself to connect to that. Whether you experience it as a green energy or a different color, you just want to feel the fullness that your heart can hold and will hold. Yeah. And then moving up to your throat and just feeling and experiencing that. Whether you notice the blue color or not, just allowing that energy to be open and full, gently spinning. Yeah. 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 And moving up to your sixth chakra, your third eye in the middle of your forehead, and just experiencing that. And some people see it as variations in the color of purple. Yeah. And again, just noticing and experiencing what that feels like right at this moment.
Yeah.
And then moving up to your crown chakra and really allowing the energy to connect, the fullness of it. And now we're going to take a brief second to feel our heart line, our crystalline tube that runs through the earth, up to the divine, and through the center of our body. And this tube has various sizes, circumference. And we're just going to take a moment to just make sure that it's straight. Straight up and straight down. No kinks, no twists. And just imagine that your heart line is as wide as your largest chakra, so that all of the chakras have plenty of room to stretch and grow. And now we're going to invite our soul chakras to come in and to integrate. So just notice or feel energy as it begins to come down through your head, down through your body, working its way down your heart line. And then taking hold near your root chakra. So experiencing your physical life purpose. Right between your first and second chakra. That root chakra of your soul. And you may notice the terracotta color. You may feel it. And now feeling your soul center, your soul point, right in the middle of your belly, in between your third chakra and your second chakra. And just allowing yourself a moment to experience that there. And then feeling or noticing right above your heart, your high heart, the transcendental heart. And feeling that active within your heart, how it feels above your energetic heart, below your throat. And now connecting to that aha point, that space of divine download right at the back of the neck and that occipital joint. And experiencing that teal color, or just noticing it trying to open, expand, release.
Yeah.
Yeah, more stuck energy here for people.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then accessing that inner light point, that where our soul's purpose is located. In between the third eye and your crown. And I'll just take a moment to experience your energy system in connection. Does it feel different? Does it feel fuller, taller, wider? And you can keep this connection if you so choose. I'm just going to invite you to, come back into the now, come back into this moment right now. Wiggle your fingers or toes or stretch. And all we did was connect to the energy and ask it to come into our body for a moment so that we could experience the fullness of that. And some of us have that happening on a regular basis. And for others of us, it may be the first time we really felt that, but maybe we felt it at different times trying to activate, but we didn't know what it was, right? So welcome to a few of you guys who logged in as we were kind of in the middle of that. So when we expand our awareness of our energy system and expand our thinking to hold more possibilities, we can start to see how that would help with our energetic and our spiritual evolution. And the more energy that we are able to tap into, the more juice we have to take action. It's not more juice for us to react with, because this is all in a frequency kind of beyond that. So this is a way for us to connect to a higher version of ourselves, a fuller version of ourselves is more how my team is showing it. So this is just, part one out of, 51 or something. Looks into our expanded energy system. There's no way to do the ascension without our energy system shifting. And I think people have a base understanding of that, but they don't know what that entails. And it's different for different people depending on what their mission is and how much energy they need to use, but we can all begin to use more of our own energy. Then we don't have to deplete energy from other people, because we can access unlimited energy if you think about it, because we have that unlimited potential. So thank you. I'm glad you enjoyed it. Thank you, guys. You are very, very welcome. Yes. So Neshi's saying this is a great meditation, and the info you shared today is really help us prepare to do our soul work even more in 2019 and beyond. Yes. My team's very focused on the beyond part. Nice. I'm so glad you got to experience the soul chakras. You guys are very, very welcome. And I hope you got to the sense of how much more energy is there when you connect to them. And it doesn't have to be a special occasion. You can really just take a couple brief moments and call that energy in. And when you do, then there's so much more that you can do. So as Chakra Sessions goes forward, I'm really going to be tapping into the information beyond the 7 chakras, because that information is out there. It's accessible. You can find it anywhere. But when we start talking about the soul chakras and the secondary chakras and the tertiary chakras and the 22 chakra system and things like that, yeah, it's not out there. There are brief glimpses of it here and there, but this is what I'm teaching in my school. And as I'm teaching these these energy systems. We're clearing the clutter that's keeping the energy from being activated. And so it doesn't mean I have to hold on to the knowledge just for my school students. The knowledge is great. I have a very specific way from my team about how to clear the energy quickly and integrate quickly. It's on a 3-year plan, basically, how to really integrate to then be able to speed up the process. But this is how we're going to be working this year. So I hope you enjoy that. Sorry I ran over briefly. If you want a full healing and a full clearing and want to really start into 2019, then join me tomorrow night at 7 o'clock, where we do the healing meditation. You get to set your healing intention and how the clearing is going to go. And then I pull cards and share messages from the divine. And we run those cards until we're done. And generally it's around 2 hours. So I really look forward to seeing you guys. If you want to work more one-on-one with me, I'm starting to do some mentoring and coaching on a regular basis, distance-wise. So if that's something that you're interested in, you can reach out to me at trinityhealingsanctuaries.com, and I would love to help work with you. And with that, guys, have a great rest of your day, and I will see you tomorrow night. Bye.